Well, hello and welcome to the Battle Pirates Crib and the Alliance Cribs Roundtable. This week we are talking about the Hellgate raid, a bit about the Hellhound, some builds and stuff like that. So what we'll do is we're just going to introduce each other on the panel here. So at the minute I've got on first on my list is David.
Right there, I'm Dirt Devil from RCCB.
Got your level and coin
I'm
level.
hold on, level 82. Had to double check that then. And about a medium coiner.
Okay, Scotty. Scotty, yeah.
Alright, I'm Panelist, 75. Yeah, I'm talking. Hello.
Yep, got you.
Hello.
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 Okay, right, we'll move on to Kyle. Kyle, can you introduce yourself, mate?
I'm a total freak, level 81, moderate to high coiner, I guess.
Okay, and Mike?
Hi guys, game name's Hiram, Hockey Alliance in Sector 307. I'm a level 66 and moderate coiner and slowly getting to be less and less coiner.
Okay, and Andre?
Yeah, I'm a 77 in KDE. Coin quite a bit, to be fair. Only when I see it necessary, though.
Okay, and Stephen?
I'm Stephen W. from THE. I'm a level 70, and like everybody else, I'm going to say I'm a moderate coiner. They get enough of my money, unfortunately.
And Tito?
Hi everybody, my in-game name is Carpe Diem and I am level 83 and I am in AAB.
Howard?
Hi there, I'm Grieber from TSQ and I just do everything the slow way.
Okay, and Winston?
Rick Pig with Band of Pirate Brothers, level 89, and after this last raid, spending $900 on the new fleet and ranking it, I would say an excessive coiner.
Okay, right. Let's try Scotty again.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Hello.
we can hear you, mate.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can hear you.
level 75 from Panelist. I'm a cutie pie. Shut up. I'd probably say heavy coiner, to say the least.
I think Scott should tell us about the Marauder they coined.
Oh, it doesn't look like
What?
he wants to. Okay, so basically, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the raid, what we've all done in the raid, what techniques we've used, how we've thought raid's gone. So if we start in the same order again, so if you start with David, do you want to let us know what you've done in the raid?
All I managed to do was get my points, get the top 2 prizes, because that's all I can get. I rattled it out after 2 to 3 hours, and that weren't pushing it. It was just a nice little steady plod, and I just used my Codies. And that was it. The only problem I had was trying to help fellow Alliance members, trying to join their battles. By the time I got in there, they was already dead.
Okay, fair enough. Scott's having some mic issues, so if we move on to Kyle first.
Sure, I did the raid in about an hour and a half, cooked a steak in between. I mainly used my Frosty and Interceptor fleets. Some guys were using Grim with their Enforcers, actually, that were also working quite well for them, and others Grim and Harlocks. But for me, the Interceptors worked really well. And as far as joining other people's battles to help them, there's a way around that issue, if you want me to explain it.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay, what you do is you get them to, of course, start the battle. As soon as they get in, it glows red, of course. You click on it, but don't hit attack yet. As soon as they retreat, hit attack. It'll let you in right away. You'll get the 45-second timer. You can start the battle, and then they can join afterwards. And that way, you don't end up right in the middle of everything, getting half dead before you get in.
That's a really good tip there. Thank you very much. Okay, Mike, how have you done this raid?
I'm done. I got the top 2 prizes and a couple other things I needed. I used the Frostburn V2H fleet that I've got real close to skull rank, and while it was repairing in between, I was hitting 45 with my Nighthawks for no damage.
Okay, cool. What about you then, Rob?
I've just been using my enforcers pretty much all of the raid in the 47s, getting a quick 690k. Also tried them on some of the campaigns, but it wasn't as cost effective, so I stopped doing them. I didn't get it as quick as everyone else. I spent the first night kind of testing the waters with a few things for everybody else, see what worked and what didn't. So.
Okay, cool. Stephen, how have you been doing it?
So I've already got the Magma thrower, and I'm halfway towards what I need to get the new hull again. Like Rob was saying, I was kind of taking it slow, trying to figure out what works before I invested a bunch of coin. You know, it's pretty cheap. I think I'm 100 coins in or something right now, so it's decent. Like I said, everybody said 45s are great. 47s, I'm sure everyone's going to talk about, are 3 boats for 700k. If you've got the fleets built to do it, you can knock right through it.
Okay, cool. Tito, how have you done this raid, mate?
Well, this way was very easy with enforcers, and I did like it mostly, I think. Just go farming 47s with enforcers, which was quite cheap, putting a navigator on a right to make it move faster on the map. But also tried the Nighthawks in the campaign, plus the Grimshine with the Harlocks, just to try how it was. But as Rob said, it's cheaper to do the 47s rather than to try in those campaigns. So at the end, I finished one set of the campaign and then just ended doing 47s with enforcers, or at times the 2 mastodons and the frostbone on the head, because that frostbone was able to stop those flame spouts that were coming from the different fleets. It was pretty easy, but you have to have those fleets to do it.
Okay, cool. Howard, how have you been doing it, mate?
Grim plus Harlocks, and I also had a fleet of Savage plus V2C Cryros. Just did Siege and quite a few 47s, and just did it slow. But got top 2 prize and done that.
All right, cool. What about you, Brig Pig? I'm sure you've done fantastically well.
Yeah, it was done in about 45 minutes. When I try and team up with somebody, when you were mentioning about having problems getting started in a battle, what I've done is once they entered the battle, I would view it first, leave, and then go into the battle. That seemed to work from time to time. But we take in different styles of fleets. Like I take in, for example, Mastas, and they take in Harlocks. So you have 2 different styles of fleets attacking a siege campaign, and you'd breeze right through it. It seemed was pretty easy raid, actually.
Okay, cool. I know that I've been using a similar tactic. I've been using my Frostburn and Mastodons. Doing 47s has been the way forward for me, although there has been quite a lack since it was posted everywhere that there was 47s, just high points for little damage. We have on the Battle Pirates Crib page, we've got a couple of videos of pain trains done for us, which shows different ways to do it. A 45 for no damage with subs for those of you that don't want to spend any points. So check that out. It's a good, easy way to get some points. And obviously no repairs for that. Scotty, have you sorted your mic out yet? Doesn't look like it. So has anybody else got any other tips that they would use for the raid, or?
Well, I got one quick one for Siege 3 and Siege 5 are both completely, you can do them with Nighthawks for no damage. Or zombies, not Nighthawks, I just call them, because it they have flamethrowers, but they don't seem to have as many of the close-in rockets, because the flamethrowers don't hit you underwater. It's you keep that going on, is, I don't know what it is, the Scout or whatever Reaver it is. They've got, I guess, mid-range rockets on them, and that's what's killing your subs really quickly. It's not the flamethrower at all. But they
No.
don't have that, so you can pick it off.
The magma thrower doesn't hit underwater in the raid campaigns. However, the ships that have got the magma thrower on have got a depth charge on there, which has got a range of 50. So if you're looking at doing it with subs, you want to be keeping them at sort of max to sort of 75% range, and that way you'll stay out the way of the depth charges, and it will help you out a lot.
And I also think you need to have the assault torpedoes, the siege torpedoes. They detect you in that range.
Oh, for sure. If you've got the speed though, you're pretty good. You can outrange him and keep in that range. I've also heard that people have been doing the 45s with Kudas, R5 Kudas, with no retros at all on them. So somebody did post that to our page earlier. So it is possible to do with Kudas. And obviously, if you're worried about getting killed and repairing, you can obviously zombie up your Kudas and just keep on sending them out.
Yeah, you could do 47s with zombie subs.
Any other tips and tricks? Anybody?
Yeah, another option for some. I mean, some of our players, they can't make it all the way through the siege very well without taking a ton of damage. But if you just do the first and second one, which aren't too bad, you get a little over 600k. Then you can just end it and restart it and just keep doing it that way. I mean, you don't get the bonus that way, but if there's no one on to help you finish it, that's a good way to rack up points pretty quick.
Scotty, are you back now?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, there you go. We can hear you now.
Yeah, there we go.
So, how have you been doing it? And have you got any tips and tricks for anybody?
I've been doing the. I mean, to be honest, I wanted to get out of the way and done with, but I was doing the elites with my Frostburn Kodiaks and my Grim Kodiaks, mixing it in. And my Atlas seemed to do the siege pretty easy. And then I had a Mastodon fleet with a Grim and a Jugex hitting the little 40s, like the 41s. They don't seem to take much damage in the 40s. Okay. And I was doing them as I was doing it.
Have you got any tips for the lower level players? Anything to help them out?
I think the which one was it now? There was one of the 40s at the Nighthawks, I believe. The subs that I believe can do if you've got Spectres or Nighthawks. I think it was a 41.
Yeah, the 45.
They seem to be doing pretty. And 45, yeah. So we can do them. You can do them with Spectres or subs for no damage, and they give out quite a lot of points.
Yeah.
If you're a low-level player below 50 and you've got strike, just get one of your Lions teammates to just do strike all the way through for you. Just start it with a gunfight.
Yeah.
Let the counter get down to 3 seconds, then retreat. That still allows the other player to join the battle. You don't lose any ships, no repairs. As long as you've got a big boy to walk through strike, 700k.
Cool. Another really good tip there. So what we're going to do in a minute is we're going to go through some slides and stuff with the prizes that are available during the raid. So you've got the Hellhound, which I know a few of us have got built, and we've seen them floating around on the map and decimating a few bases, mine included. So we'll have a bit of a chat about some of the stats that are on there, and then there's a couple of builds that I put together that you can have a look at as well. So I don't know if you're ready, Tito. There we go. So do you want to talk us through it, Tito? You're muted, Tito.
Okay, if you want, I start with the general idea of what are those holes, and then when we get to your builds, you can go and explain them, so you can give them more feedback, or if they have questions in the chat.
Yeah, sure.
Well, first of all, this is the Hellhound. It's one of the two top-tier prices that you can get, and as you can see, it's a resemblable of a Berserk, but built to be likely the 2015 Hellstrike. It is built or created especially to go with a new weapon, the Magma Thrower. Though many people is not building with the Magma Throwers because despite the high DPS, it's a build that is quite expensive, not just to build, but to repair. Especially because if you want a good fleet of the, you need 4 of them, and 4 of them gets you to close to 68 coins if you build them with massive armor. And although you can get into 140,000 damage to buildings, and that will barely kill any building in game in a couple of seconds, nothing is going to have a second chance for reload. You're going to end hitting the base with a huge build that make you wonder if you have win or lose using this fleet, although you got OP. Well, the next we have a table in which I have put the Hellbound, the Berserk R5, and the Hellstrike R10, so you can see the different stats. On the left side will be something more general, likely armor points or something that is common to any ship. As you can see, the Hellhound starts with a huge amount of armor points compared to the other two hulls, which makes that with the same amount of slots that the other two, and with a bigger amount of armor on it, which makes it hold a lot of more damage. The only thing that kills it a bit is the max weight. As you can see, the max weight is quite limited if you compare to the Berserk or the Hellstrike, which will be limiting you a bit more in the weapon. Although the weapon that was brought is very light if you compare to others that we will see. As you can see, has 9 weapons as the Berserk, just the Hellstrike has a few less. The armor slots, as I said, is the same for everybody, so it's a special. So it gives you a lot of game when you want to build these things. The cargo, well, I put it here, but I think that nowadays, with all that salp open all over the sea, you don't need to take much care about it. And for what you can see, this has not yet reached into the retrofit lab and already starts with a good weighted start, that is 10%. So you can stack up a good amount of bait, although you will have to be careful when you go that way, because then fleets of UAVs, especially if they are defending the base, will be your main trouble. Map speed with the towers, relay towers nowadays is not that important, but well, as you can see, it's not a total. Combat speed is quite interesting. It's a fleet. It doesn't have yet the Hellstrike speed, but well, as I said, retrofit lab can fix that. But you can achieve with 13 speeds about 20 and 21 with not decimating much the size of the build. The turn speed, as any of these river fleets, is not the best they have. But as I said, with 13 speed, you can afford using the speed system that will also give you a bit more of a bait. So the turning is not going to be much for trouble. The ballistic damage, missile damage, and explosive damage is literally the same for the 3 stats, as you can see, which is something quite uncanny, because normally missile is what make the blizzards weaker, and this one is not weaker at all to the missiles. And as you can see, the most exaggerated one is the radioactive damage, because this fleet is supposed to go through bases that has enforcers, Wendigos, and other weapons that are all radioactive, achieving 50%. That with the enforcer, that not many people, unless they have some sort of tricks used to hit bases, or that indicator that when you get into the retrofit lab also gets the 50%, is one of the highest resistance in hulls that you can find. Well, this was more general to all of them. On the right side, we have the attributes that make that supposedly this hull is supposed to be used with some weapons and not others. But as you will see in the sea, there is people that has decided to go other ways, and they are working. The Hellhound has thrower damage 40% more, which increased the damage and DPS of that weapon a lot. Something that at some points you don't see even necessary, because as you will see when we talk about the weapon, is quite strong. Projectile speed is something that doesn't only work with the Magma Thrower. You can use it in other rockets that you could put as well, and other weapons like missiles could be affected as well. So maybe with the rockets is where you can see the most benefit with it. It doesn't have a rocket reload bonus, 140%, but as we have seen when we get these fleets into higher levels, those rockets doesn't need to have this 140 because you have that limit 0.2, and I think by level 20 on the rank you will achieve the max you can get, especially if you were making the mistake to put any of those cluster warheads that you don't need. Now comes the most nasty things. Splash is 40%, which is quite huge. Even you could even think about keeping it with mortars, and you wouldn't do that bad. Taking care that most of the creepers fleets that we have used in the past were 25 or 35% in the splash. This is 40. The spread, it doesn't have any bonus on the spread. At some points it's good, at some points it's bad. We know that the narrow is the more easy to kill a single target. Sometimes you want more spread when you want to kill several targets that are a bit spread instead of stacking together. So depends on what is the use you're going to do. And now the stats that make it nasty. The first one is especially against the Wendigo, because we know that when the Wendigo splash effect is on the top of your fleets, your ships are slow. Well, this fleet has a slow resistance of 70%. That is the highest one I have ever seen. And the stun resistance, we are talking about pinches and alike, it has also a 70%. Then we have the last of the stats that is going to be affected by the overload a bit on the lower is the tactical field resistance, which means that when you are under effects of the tactical field, like it could be the frostborn, that debuff our speed, our armor, and our reload, instead of suffering the full head, you only will have to suffer half of it, which is quite interesting, especially because in the overload mode, if you have built a fleet of 4, you get by 9 seconds these 3 stats 100%, which means that you are completely immune to them. Then the stat that has been so many trouble in the forums and is the turret defense, and in this one I want everybody with the ears quite clear, because turret defense is a stat that is a new stat in game, and the mechanics on this one are quite different. The big problem we have is that we are used that when we have a stat, likely the ballistic damage, malicious damage, explosive, and radiation, we know that those stats, kicks, I don't want them to get to 100 because that will give them immunity, and they don't want holes with immunity to anything. So we were expecting that this turret defense was stacking the same way. They didn't say anything, and people got to discover after coining, which for me it's a bit of a shady way to discover things, because in the last raid in Christmas we got a special. It's got Siege Battery, and it gives turret defense as well. The Siege Battery is supposed to give a level 3, that is the one that probably mostly people is going to use with this whole 40% extra turret defense. Or that is what everybody was thinking, but it works in another way. But for the stat called turret defense, if you have 2 values, it will take the biggest value. As let's say the Siege Battery gives you 40 and you have in the whole 30, well, the final stat will be 40, not 30 plus that 40 that we were expecting to be 58. I hope that is clear and nobody built it with Siege Battery. Getting 19% extra extra weight for 2 days and a half build, and having to retrofit it after.
That's crazy.
And that's the last one. Building damage is 100%, which makes the weapon do double damage when you are hitting buildings, and make a very nasty hit. And finally, well, tactical field we have talked, and as I said, this hull is likely the Hell Strike, but has the abilities of the overload that you are finding on the Berserk. It's not the same because it's a bit lower, but you get 10% extra defense, 20% extra speed, and 20% extra thrower damage, which makes that if you use it with the flamethrowers, there is nothing in game that so far can resist this. As I said, there is the what they call overload level 4, and if you can get 4 of these hulls at overload at once, it will make by immune for 9 seconds, as I said, to a slow resistance, stun resistance, and the tactical field resistance, you get complete immunity. Last 9 seconds. Also remember that the overloads happens each time that you suffer 1,500 armor points of damage. So if you happen that before 9 seconds pass, you get a second damage that of 1,500, the timer will reset. So you will not get 9 plus 9, 18. You will get, for example, if it happens at second 6, you will get 6 seconds from the first and 9 seconds from the last one, 15 seconds. So don't expect this to last. If I have 12,000 armor points divided by 1,500 and the number by 9, this is the time I will be in immunity. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, next page. Well, this is what I want everybody to remember, that they don't stack. Just you can see here the post in the forums if anybody want to contrast what I have said. And next we go to the Magma Thrower. Well, the Magma Thrower is also the 2015 Inferno Rocket. It's one of the weapons with highest DPS as we can see. The Inferno Rocket has bigger DPS, but we will see that the weight is quite different. Let's see here the compare table I made. Well, as you can see, the Magma Thrower, it has a splash that is one of the first I see that the splash value is variable. It goes from 6 to 24 because it's a weapon that the more it hits a target, the higher is the splash. That's the reason. Well, the Inferno was 18. So we say that at the beginning the splash of this weapon is going to be small, but if you keep it with time, will be bigger than the Inferno Hellfire that we know. The spread of this is 20, so it means that it can hit close to one tile, while the Inferno Hellfire could hit a bit more. But sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not as good, because sometimes you want all your damage focusing in one target and not damage that is lost. Range is quite interesting. It's 68. It's a pity that it's just 68 and not a bit more, because the main enemy on a base hit is the Gargoyle, and the Gargoyle range is 64. You can be a very good driver, but avoid with the difference of 4 that the Gargoyle shots at you back is going to be complicated. As I said, at high levels, because of the reload you will have and the damage you will do, I doubt that a Gargoyle hits you more than twice. But it's a pity that it didn't end with the values we saw at first in some of those data miners, because it would have been much better. As you can see, the normal damage is 2,414, and the building damage is double. If we're taking care that because we are using it on the Hellhound, we get 100% more. It ends with a building damage of 4 times the normal damage that it will do on a ship. It doesn't have any extra damage. It's all radioactive, as we know. And here is one of the important things to take in care: the salvo. The salvo is 25. As I said in the last show we made, I remember everybody that 25 less 1 is 24, and that by 0.2 is the penalty that you get to release all the salvo of this weapon, which means that 8 seconds, that is the reload that Kixai gave us, plus the penalty from the salvo, we are going to shot this weapon more or less each 13 seconds at the beginning before you rank it up. So take that in care when you are hitting bases if you don't rank them first, because you could be waiting for them to shot again. The weapon type is new. It's a thrower, so mostly of the specials that are dedicated to one type of weapon are not going to work, just the generals. But the damage type is radioactive, so we are all expecting that some special on hulls that give reloads to the radioactive are going to affect it. The weight, as I said, is one of the most interesting things. It's just 320 tons. If you compare it to the Inferno, it's close to the 4th part of one of the Infernos, which give you a lot of game when you are trying to arm your Hellhounds with it, because you have extra room for weight, and we were worried at that at the beginning, as I said, with that limited 7,900 that we saw. The DPS, as you can see, is quite interesting. It's not as high as the Inferno, but the fact that it is lighter gives you the chance to put more in your hulls, ending with a very interesting amount of damage you can do. Now, if you see here, when you compare the DPS versus the 100 tons, you can see that it's 3 times higher the DPS in this weapon that it will be in the other one, the Inferno. That is the one I compare. As I said, the building damage is quite interesting. Again, the Inferno Hellfire is a bit higher, but due to the weight, you're not going to be able to keep that many Inferno Hellfires as you could do with the new weapon, the Magma Thrower. And when you check the DPS divided by the tons, you will see that this is 16 and this is likely 10 times. Well, and here now I'm going to pass the voice to Arv. This is the first build. Whenever you want, you tell me and I will pass to the second.
Yeah,
Good.
cool.
Now you can breathe, Tito.
Yeah. So yeah, we've just put together some sample builds really. This one, you can fit 4 of these Hellhounds in with the Grimshine's Berserker. So as we know from the raid video, you've got the overload on the Hellhounds, but it also stacks with the overload on the Grimshine. So your defences will be buffed, your speed will be buffed, and then it will also stack with the defence stats and the extra speed that you get from the Grimshine as well. So I put this together. I have put the Siege battery on there just to add a little bit more turret defence. You know, it's an extra 10%. It's going to help out in some ways, in some certain types of bases. Basically, the repair cost on this fleet is massive. It's 87 coins to coin it from dead. What we've done is we've put a bunch of evade on there. Gets you to quite a nice evade figure of 75%. This is going to be pretty good against enforcers. You know, it's not the best. You can get higher with the Jugex and the R10 Hellstrike. But with the overloads going through, with that speed boost, you can run past quite a lot in bases, especially when you've got the Grim overload as well. Obviously, that's triple in your salvo on your weapons, so that's going to bust right through gargoyles and stuff like that, so they're not going to fire more than once. Basically, we put a couple of compound plates on the Grimshine just to help again a little bit against UAVs. Same with the Hellhound now as well. You know, it's going to help you out a bit. 4 of those throwers on there is plenty enough damage. As you can see, it's 13,000 damage per ship there. So 4 of those in there, that's going to be pretty nasty. So that's just a general build with the Grimshine. What we'll do is we'll post these on the Battle Pirates Cribs page as well. And if anybody's got any suggestions on how to make it better and stuff, they can obviously comment and leave their builds as well. If we move on to build number 2, Tito. You good? So this one we've got the Highlander Nukes Cruiser. So as we know, we've got base radioactive defense of 50%. So add in the reflective coating, bumps it up a little bit, and then add on top the Highlander Nuke Cruiser, and you can see it comes out at 82% now. This sort of design is predominantly for if you wanted to rush bases which have only really got enforcers in and stuff like mastodons in there. You don't particularly be wanting to send a build like this in versus some high rank UAVs because it's going to chew you up quite a lot. The evade on this one is quite nice. It bumps it up to 79% now, so it gives you some nice evade if you're going to go up against an enforcer base, and against 4 Hellhounds in here. There's a bit more damage because we've got some more throwers on there, and obviously we've got Highlander Nuke Cruiser. What I've done is I've left it as a shell basically, with no armor on there, but for the weight that's there, I've just put on some reflective armor there, reactive armor even. Just in case you get any shine missiles just coming over the top and hitting it whilst it's outside the base, just to keep your bonuses alive really. So again, I'll post this build up there. I don't know if anybody's got any thoughts on it. rig you've built yours already, it's something similar to this?
Yeah, mine's somewhat similar. I started off with a Grimshine flagship first, and it did okay. Seen a couple of videos with the Highlander, so I chose to build that one too. And I noticed I did the same thing too as you did with your Highlander there, by not having that have a whole bunch of weight that enabled you to put a lot more magma throwers on your Hellhounds, like a lot more.
All right, cool. Who else has got them built? Did I see? Yeah, we've got somebody else who's got them built. Scotty, you've got some built as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I got them built with the launchers though.
All right.
I didn't use the new weapon. I didn't bother with the new weapon.
Okay. Is there a reason behind it that you'd like to share?
The range more than anything, and it's reload when they're ranked.
Yeah. I mean, because the maximum reload you can get on the new throwers on the hull is around about 5 seconds. So even if you're skull ranking them, then you're basically wasting your money, because the maximum fire rate is achieved much earlier than 75%.
Yeah.
So it's just something for people to think about.
I mean, I'm actually using my cryo, but I'm thinking about using cryo on mine. Because it reduces their defenses. Because the only thing that will really hurt me at the moment is Atlas. If I can kill the Atlas, I can walk past the Enforcers. Enforcers don't do nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what seemed to hurt the
killing
fleet
the
that I
Atlas.
got hit with is Atlas. Has anybody else got any comments that they want to make on any builds or any recommendations going forward?
Well, the idea I got, because when I saw the range, I didn't like it at all, because I thought this is a hull that is going to be very costly to repair, is to find something with a bit more of range. And I found that if the flagship is the Savage Kodiak, and you get it to legendary as well, you will not get that 0.3 from the Kodiaks. That's famous fleet that we all know, the level 51, but you will get 0.5. So you will get two of the third parts of the reload of that weapon. So two of the third parts of those missiles in the air in the 2 seconds. That is the reload of the flags. So that could be another interesting build with the strikes bees. And if you want some of those, a killer's bee as well.
Yeah, I was going to put together a build for that as well, which I'll also post on the Battle Pirates crib after the show, maybe tomorrow.
Just bearing in mind as well, you put.
Sorry, carry on.
As well, you put the siege battery on one of them. Sorry, you put the siege battery on one of them builds. Just bearing in mind, if you 30%, you're saving a special.
Yeah, yeah.
Else.
It's you can save that special for something else.
30% is quite a good chunk of the turrets.
It is. The only reason that I added it is because it gives an extra 10% to the turret defense.
Yeah.
And with obviously
that siege too,
having the throwers on there, it's your problem's going to be gargoyles, and obviously Atlas, isn't it? So your main problem is going to be the gargoyles, and any damage that you can reduce from them is going to be of a high value to you, which is the only reason I put it on.
And also with Siege Battery, it gives you extra building damage as well to help you clear those gargoyles.
Yeah,
there is that. Yeah, so that's really the reason behind me putting it on there. I do admit that it would be lovely if we could have it stacking, but that would make it seriously overpowered. So it's quite good that it doesn't stack, but I do believe that Kickstarter should have told us beforehand.
I agree.
Howard, have you got anything you want to suggest?
Well, I will say one thing. If you're not going to use the siege turret special, perhaps consider using the evade upgrade. Give them a bit more evade against the enforcers.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. On one of the builds I did put the evade upgrade on there just to show the difference in the evade, which is going to help quite a lot. Rob, have you got anything you want to add?
No, it's not really much to say about what's not been covered. I'm not really impressed with the ship as it is at the moment. Maybe in the future I'll change my mind, but definitely not something that is worth coining, I don't think.
Okay. Has anybody got any opinions on the build time? Is next question I want to ask people.
It's
Other than it
fucking
sucks.
joke, mate. That's-
30 days. for
They're
season build.
supposed to be, he said it from himself, didn't he? Came out of the horse's mouth that they're going to be looking at sorting out build times for, as you play longer, you're meant to be seeing more reasonable build times, but they're just getting longer. It's just beyond a joke, to be honest.
We took it a month for some of them ships.
Exactly. I mean, if I was to build a fleet the long way, with the new weapons and stuff, a 4-ship build, then, I might have one by Easter, if I'm lucky.
Yeah, and probably by
That's if you
Easter,
don't get hit.
they have released already
That's
the
if you don't
convert
get
to
hit.
the weapon, so then it will not be
Yeah.
as effective as you were expecting. 4 months is a joke. It's important that they say that
And
they are trying to do build times lower, but it's not just trying. What they have to do is do it, because between trying and doing there is a long difference.
Well, not only that, say you get hit and you're not online to repair, you've lost, what, say 4 hours? It adds up.
Oh, for sure. You know, if it's stopping your build all the way through, those 4 months could turn into 5 months. If you like me and you get hit quite a lot. So we've covered the build times. I think we're all in agreement that it's a massive thumbs down on that one. When Kixeye are saying that they want to actively reduce build times, and then they come out with a ship which is longer base build than anything similar. So like the Berserkers, it's an extra 2 days, I think, is it, for the base build without any weapons or anything. You can't say.
Well, it's what you said about the siege battery. It's what you said about the siege battery. If you want to put that on, that's an extra 2 days just for that.
Yeah, and the weapon
2 days and a
time.
half.
Yeah, and the weapon time as well. The build time on the weapon's insane as well. It's getting beyond a joke, really, to be perfectly honest. I understand that it's a very powerful hull and it's a very powerful weapon, but you've got to think that people who've got to build it the slow way, there's no point in them building it, because by the time they've built it, it's going to be out of date.
No,
It's got to be a compromise.
Actually, it's likely the guy that doesn't have much money and save all his life to buy a Ferrari that have to keep it in the garage, because you cannot use it as often as any other hull. You hit with that, or you coin those 87 coins that we were talking about, or you have to keep it repairing and not doing nothing else during 1 day and a half.
That's a good point, Tito. I like that comparison.
It is
$9 a hit. Just let that sink in. $9 to go out and whack someone's base, and it's just kind of crazy to me. I don't see the point of how hard they're pushing some of these build times. And we've talked about them over, going so fast and starting the year on such an overpowered hull. I mean, what are we going to have left for the rest of the year? What's coming
I'd like
next?
to think of this whole as, if you weren't willing to spend so much on the repair, then you might be using it once a week in and out of other repairs, and that's if you don't get snagged at a tower or something on the way there.
Well, you know what else is disappointing is they brought out the Mastodon that took some skill to drive it well, where they were putting that back in the game, and now they put another point and click back in the game. That's disappointing to me.
It's freaking flamethrowers. I mean, can you get more point and click than goddamn flamethrowers?
This is very true.
Well, I guess that after this, the only thing they can do is bring a nuke. So you just when you click the base, it says you 100 coins and the base is flattened. So you click there, and you don't even to bother to hit the base.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Guys, I was just looking in Shipbuilder. How about using the countermeasure reloader?
Yeah, you could put in a countermeasure reloader and stick some phalanx or some hails on there, which would help you out quite a lot.
And
especially at high rank against UAVs.
Shorten the build as well to about 29 days, 30 days, which is still an outrageous build, but it's better than some of the 33, 34 days out there.
29 days. That doesn't even sound right.
Oh no, it comes to something when we're saying that's not a bad time. That's not a bad build time.
Hold
29
on.
days.
Let's let
Hold
the
there.
bigger numbers sink in here, guys.
I can
It's $150 a goddamn boat.
There you go.
We're talking about a month. That's $150, more or less, if you have in America or you have a good exchange rate. More for some of the international players. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It's
It's crazy.
29 days and 20 hours.
Yeah, I wish I would have thought about that a little bit more after a bottle of vodka. But there was an interesting point that was brought up with regards to putting a bunch of antes on there, because the range on the turns that are hurting these hulls, the gargoyles and stuff like that, being shorter by only about 4 points. As I'm coming in, I notice that as soon as my ship fires towards those, I stop them right away. And sometimes you need those antes, whatever, just to stay alive while you're hanging out trying to blow through a bunch of walls just to get to that turn.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned before that I think, we've seen phalanx hitting gargoyle fighter coming in before. So, that's one thing you might think of. I don't know if that's supposed to happen, but I have seen it happen before.
How about either a couple Z missiles or a one hull built with missiles just to go ahead and take out the turrets?
You could do that as well. That's another very valid point. I'm going to make a missile build as well, which I'll stick up on the Battle Pirate script page. So we've got a few different designs there, a few different ideas. And like I said, anybody else that wants to chuck something into the mix and throw a few ideas around, probably be good for everybody, really. Sorry, go on, carry on.
I was going to mention too that when I first started the raid, I noticed the amount of points was really low, and I thought, oh crap, there's going to be a whole bunch of these hulls running around blowing up bases and stuff. Until I started to build my first one, I noticed the build time, and I was like, aha.
Yeah, so the bonus that you get is that it's an easy raid, but then you've got to wait 6 months until your fleet builds so you can use it. That's some kind of trade-off there. Has anybody else got anything they want to add on the Hellhound or the Magma Thrower? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I'm not building the Hellhound, but I'm fitting the Magma Thrower to a lot of my ships. I'm putting one each on each of my spaders, just to get rid of those pesky drones. I'm fitting them to a V2C fleet to go with some cryo S, so a bit of a fire and ice.
I like that, fire and ice. Good love it. Anybody else want to add anything? There's obviously you don't have to use the new weapon on just the Hellhound. You can use it on other things.
Yeah, I think this is a good point to have a little bitch at Kickstarter about that fucking splash thing that I was telling you about. So we're told that high explosive shells and any splash upgrades work on the new weapon, which is obviously good if you want to get that splash up. I'm looking at the blueprint now for high explosive shells, and it says explicitly increases the size of splash for explosive damage weapons. Now this isn't an explosive damage weapon, so they need to think about rewriting their blueprints and stuff, making them more appropriate for what they actually do.
Yeah, this is true, and as well, again with the when they introduce new game mechanics, like when they introduce a hull with 30% turret defense built into the hull, they need to explain that obviously turret defense specials won't stack with it. There's been a lot of uproar over it with people because rightly so, it's 2.5 days to add the turret defense special, and you're not getting what you're expected to get. I know Kickstarter have a point by saying that it's stated there in the shipbuilder before you build it, but as we know, there's lots of bugs with different things that have happened in the past, and I think that just a clarification note before the raid started, would have gone a long way to sort of mitigating the attitudes that people have got recently after coining the holes.
Another thing, if you are planning on building a build with the Grimshine, you want to make sure that it's going to be at least the same speed or faster. Otherwise, it's just going to drag behind. You're not going to get that overload bonus you want for the whole fleet.
There is that, but there is some cases where that might help you out a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can use it as a backup hole and to direct a bit of fire away if you're rushing past, like especially if you're rushing past some UAVs or something like that. You could rush past those and leave your Grim behind and get the bonus from the Grim as well.
What I've noticed around people posting a lot of builds with missile and ballistic defense on there, you might want to swap it up and put some explosive defense on there by using MX3. If you're going to be planning to rush out past Serbs and gargoyles, even though gargoyles do concussive damage.
I think you don't take in care the bypass chain guns that just came into the game. You know that the high levels maybe keep with enforcers, but middle levels maybe are going to go with chain guns. And if you don't have a high resistance to ballistic, they are going to just kill you as fast as a UAV.
Yeah, but evade will help against that as well, just to a certain point. And by the time they start hitting you, theoretically, you should start killing the weak Goliaths with chain guns and.
Well, the toilet is one of those holes with a good boost in accuracy, so you shouldn't rely that much on your evade. Besides, you don't go it that high as the Jack. I think the max we got was something close to 80. We are not getting 87 or 90s from the Jack, so you could get more damage from them.
Yeah, that's true. Also, you've got to look at siege cannons as well, because they do splash, don't they? So there is that in some of the lower level bases. That's going to hurt a little bit. Also, you've got to think as well that I know it's nice to negate the damage from a Serb, but they really ain't going to hurt you that much because of the base defences that you've got. So it's a good way of triggering the overloads. Especially considering their splash, it's going to affect the whole fleet. So,
It's just saying about the Goliaths as well. Don't forget that they have range bonus on the Goliath. And I think with that new cannon, the bypass chain gun, it's about 90 something. I can't remember the exact 92, 93, or is it?
94.5, I think.
Well, there you go. So that outranges a lot of the weapons in the game, minus UAVs, I think.
All right, I think we've pretty much covered all we can now on the Hellhound and the new weapon. What we did have in our little vote that we done just before Christmas, with regards to subjects that people wanted to see covered, was that one of the next things that was on the list was ranking tips. So I don't know if anybody's got any ranking tips they want to go through. Just quickly.
Don't coin as fast as you can.
Sorry, if we start with Mike and then we'll go to Winston.
Hit lots of cargo as fast as you can.
Okay, that's one tip.
What we noticed as well, the 51s give a better payout than the 71s.
And they're quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Winston, have you got anything you want to add?
Oh, I was just going to mention the same thing, whatever, about those 51s. They're a lot easier to kill, and there's a lot of them. It's easier to rank that way. But unfortunately, I coin my rank, so my advice: don't coin it.
Or
take
find
the time.
To coin it for you.
Yeah.
And I would say that even the 40s. Yesterday I was talking to a guy. He was trying to rank up his scooters, and he was doing 71s. And I told him, okay, let's do an exercise with you. Hit a 71 and kill it, and we time out how long it takes to you, or how much experience you get. He timed it out to 2 minutes and a half to get 10 BXP with each of the holes, but 15 with the flag. That was a good board because that. We did the same in a 51, and it took him about 1 minute and 10 seconds, something alike. But then he went to a 40, and it took 49 seconds. If you're using the salty dog that it lasts 15 minutes, the faster you can kill the target you are doing, the more you can do. So if you do 40s, you will do more. So what I suggest is, because each hull and each fleet you do has a different level, is that you go to the sea and do the same exercise. You hit a 71, you check the points and the time it takes. You do 51 and do the same, and you do even a 40, because at times people is leaving the 40s to the side, thinking that that's giving me a crap. But because you kill them so fast, you can do so many that when you zoom at the end of the 50 minutes that last the salty, you get more points than you were expecting.
Grebo, you've got a nice little thing here with health points in our chat. I don't know if you want to talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, the basic thing about getting the experience points from a cargo is it's all down to how much armor health your ships have got. So just add up all the armor and health and go for the smallest cargo that has more hit points. A 40's got 13,417, a 51's got 34,490, and a 71's got 59,740. And don't hit anything bigger than what you need to. A lot of unarmoured ships, you can get max experience points from hitting a 40.
So that's another tip as well. The less armor points you've got, the less high you've got to go on the salvage. Obviously, you're going to end up getting the same amount of VXP because it tops out at a level of 10. If you don't take any damage, you get 10 from each cargo. It's capped at that. Obviously, with the salty, that's doubled, so it's 20.
Another thing I noticed too is like I'm currently in sector 25, and I haven't seen any enforcers hit any of these fleets and stuff for this raid. So some of the bases I've hit, you'd see that the enforcers weren't ranked, so it might be something to consider.
Yeah, raid targets with enforcers, low repair, and you get to rank them at the same time. Stephen, have you got something you want to show, mate?
Yeah, Urf showed me a good trick. If you have Nighthawks, this is what you do. You go to a sector, you find Drak bases. The two outside turrets, not the main ones. You can kill those on auto with any Nighthawk level, like, let's say to be safe, over like level 2 or 3. Put on salty dogs, go out, auto from the east, and come in. You'll kill the two of them, no damage, because as soon as you kill the center gun, it ends. There's no real lag there. You can do it in one submerge. You just go bookmark a bunch, go from them, jump, jump, jump. You can get 15-ish done in an hour, and you're looking at like 4,000 to 5,000 VXP. I was jumping a level per. I was doing it once or twice, and getting 2 or 3 levels. So it's really worth the time. It's the most effective way that I've seen to level subs.
Also, if you're doing that, Stephen, you get a little bit of uranium. Not a lot, but if you're doing that a lot, ranking over the month, it all adds up at the end of the month. That small change here and there.
Yeah, I think it's 20 uranium you get for each one of them.
I've been explaining, when you do it a bunch, you're going to set off everybody's sector thing. So I've been explaining it to as many people as I can because it's a really cool trick. That's probably the best one I've heard in a while.
I'm going to have to try that. I like that. I'm ranking Nighthawk right now.
Dead from the east. Come in from the east, and you're good to go on auto. And if you want to play with it and try to get a little more experience and drive them for fun, you can. You can get a little bit more, but it's easy.
The arena tournament's really good for getting your VXP up. Just put a slutty crew on. As long as you got some uranium for buying the insurance for the full repairs. I managed to get a harlot all the way from 0 rank to 45% in one day just doing the arena.
Yeah, you get an arena bonus in there as well, don't you? So you do get a lot of VXP. And obviously the unidentified raiding fleets as well. There's quite a lot of those. If you pick and choose which ones you hit, you can get some really good VXP and really low damage to 0 damage, depending on what fleets you're using.
If you're willing to ride Nighthawks as well, stick the salty dogs on, go and sink a memorial. That usually gets them ranked up a little bit.
If anybody has a Frost V2H fleet they need to rank, if the unidentified fleets are the same as last month, I was hitting 10 to 15 of them every spawn for 2 hours repair. The only one I couldn't hit was the 14. I got mine almost to skull rank in one day of unidentified fleets.
Has anybody else got anything they want to add? No? I think we're pretty much up on time now as well. So basically, if you had to give a thumbs up to the Hellhound, is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I'll let you know in a little while when when I see some hits.
Fair to middling.
I'd say it's pretty shit. Someone in our alliance got hit with it, Mazdog. It didn't even fucking touch a turret. Didn't kill one turret and he died. Legend rank with these. He had the new weapon on, the flamethrower thing.
Mine. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to mention mine. I took mine out the first time too, and was drunk. Just tried a bunch of things and ended up dying, and realized the mistakes I was making, and then I had to bring it all back and then refit it. Now that I've had a little more thought into it, like the alloy special, that kind of thing, and there are a couple other changes, it's doing a lot better. But I had a thought that I'm expecting a higher level of walls coming in, and kind of a Hellstrike flashback when Hellstrikes were really awesome, and all of a sudden then they just kind of disappeared for a while.
Okay, cool. So fair to middling response on the Hellhound. So I think we're still a bit undecided. Obviously, days are early with it, and any time will tell. So that's that.
I have one thing unraid related I wanted to bring up very quickly, just to see if anybody else is having issues. Last show, of course, we talked about the Wendigo. I've been hitting a few bases during the raid because people have come down and decided to hit my fleets. Even after killing the Wendigo, I'm still getting the slow effect all the way around the base, and I'm wondering if others are having that issue.
Yeah, get it quite a lot. I've had it since the Wendigo came out. Even when you have turret killed, like you said, or if you've got a frostburn there. I don't really know what the problem is. I sent a ticket in. I just get told it's a known issue. They're working on fixing it.
Yeah, looks likely they are missing a script or something like that would say end of slow effect affecting the fleet. So it's something like that, because you are not the first one saying that you are suffering that. Actually, I think everybody here, once you are hit once, you never get rid of that slow effect.
It's a bit on and off for me. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's been happening a lot more this week since the raid's been up than it has in the past couple of weeks. Have you also noticed there's another glitch that's come back where you can't hit a Phantom Nighthawk that's on guard?
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that, I think, in case people didn't realise and they'd try and manipulate it. Thanks.
Sorry.
Me and Earth was talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
To be fair, you can still get it. If you hit that base, you still lock up the fleet.
You can, but then that's obviously popping your bubble, isn't it? So, if you don't want to pop it and you just want to clear a guard for someone, it's a bit of a disadvantage.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm just riding my bubble out, waiting for my cryo turret to finish.
Right, so I think we're pretty much done here. Thank you very much for everybody who's joined us today on the panel and in the chat. And thank you very much for your help and support with the Battle Pirates Crib page. It's facebook.com/the Battle Pirates Crib. Some really good info and stuff on there that we've been sharing. Some unofficial data, some official, some tips, tricks, videos and stuff. We've got our YouTube channel up and running now, where we're going to start doing some walkthrough videos and stuff like that. So keep tuned for some good information. Also, want to thank everybody's response. Over 3,000 likes in just under a week's absolutely fantastic. And if you're into the whole arguing between alliances and having a bit of fun, don't forget to join the Alliance Crib, which is our sister page as well. So thank you very much. Keep keep tuned for more updates and stuff, and we shall see you next time. We're going to start doing this every week, same time on a Saturday. So we shall see you then.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Yep, thanks for having me too.
Thanks everybody, and we'll see you guys again.
Cheers.
Good night.